Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mike O'Malley here with the Hurricane Outlook and discussion for June 16th, 2020, recorded on 4:21 p.m. Eastern Time. We're taking a look here at the latest sea surface temperatures, anomalies updated as of yesterday. This is taking a look now at the rapidly declining Nino 3.4 region, which is really out in this area right now, going through a rapid decline, heading towards a La Nina base state. And again, over time, it's only going to become more favorable for a La Nina in this area, in this region, certainly with water temperatures or sea surface temperatures now declining to almost about 3 degrees Celsius below the long-term average in certain spots. And you notice some of these little waves that are coming off, these oceanic waves that are coming off here. And these are really giving the signs for, like I said, a persistent, likely La Nina to develop, and this is going to significantly hinder any sort of Eastern Pacific Basin hurricane season this year. Now, there still will be some tropical cyclones there, but there won't be as much, and there won't be as much to hinder the Atlantic. And speaking of the Atlantic Basin, look at how this really warm AMO signature is setting up. Again, this classical phase 1 AMO continuing to warm portions of the eastern main development region and the Atlantic Basin here. We're really starting to see this begin to really take over now. And again, it's only a matter of time. And we have tropical waves that are rolling off of Africa, and these are going to only amplify with time. You also notice this almost Atlantic La Nina sort of development right here. What this is that this is actually going to be able to push the intertropical convergence zone further to the north. Currently, it is still about a full 2 degrees south of where it should be for this time of the year, but it still has a lot of time. It's only June the 16th, but this area right here of cooler than normal anomalies, that's going to help build up convection underneath that intertropical convergence zone and will actually help to move it further off towards the north here with time. That's going to give this area a pretty favorable environment and favorable base state. Again, as we head in towards the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, we should certainly see something working its way through there, and it's only a matter of time. And with Africa being wetter than normal for this time of the year, it's only a matter of time at this point. If we take a look here at the upper ocean heat content, this was updated as of this morning. Again, this is really all the latent heat potential and latent heat release and how far down does the warmer water, that 26.5-degree isotherm, actually go. And again, once you start getting into these reds and oranges and greens, this is where you're really starting to pick up the higher upper ocean heat content, the higher latent heat release potential in the atmosphere, and the higher potential for a tropical system to take advantage of these warmer waters. You notice really now throughout the whole entire Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, the Lesser Antilles, the southwestern Atlantic, the Gulf Stream up and through here, even portions of the southern main development region out here in the western MDR. These areas are now warming up, and it's only a matter of time before these tropical waves really get going out here. And we've already seen that coming off at some of the lower latitudes here as these tropical waves come off, and they tend to go on to be pretty amplified for this time of the year out in that region. So it's only really a matter of time. Once again, we keep hitting home on this, but this is really important. Again, our unmanned version, our version 1, our first ever version of the unmanned camera systems to capture all the fury and power of these tropical cyclones as they make landfall along the coastlines, begins testing this weekend. Believe it or not, we are actually getting ready to go into our testing phase, and you guys will be able to see the testing phase in all its glory, its trials, its errors, its successes. Everything is going to be documented. We're going to have a really nice outline tomorrow on what's exactly going on, what the timeline is in terms of testing our equipment, and what our timeline is going forward for these. Again, these are going to be meant for unmanned camera systems to capture all the fury and power of tropical cyclones as they make landfall along the United States coastlines. Right now, we are staying locally here in Florida if anything comes this year. However, again, we are going to expand here. This is all much supported by you guys. So if you guys do want to support more of this and more of what I'm doing, go check me out on Twitter, Mike Remalley1, REMALEY for the last name, and then the number 1 after that. Again, This is going to really help everything that I'm doing here. And again, this is going to continue, and we're really going to be able to do some really good things with this. This is going to be able to capture everything. This will be live, and we'll be able to broadcast to all you guys and not behind any paywalls or anything. So if you guys want to support it and check it out and check out what I'm doing, make sure to go follow me on Twitter. I will have constant updates on there as for what's going on. Now, taking a look here at the CDAS methodology for the sea surface temperatures, this is coming from tropicaltidbits.com, the 7 a.m. Version of this map. And again, you do notice that mainly now we're starting to really expand here in terms of these warmer waters. Again, this is the 26 isotherm making its way up into the Cabo Verdes, which is actually right over here. So it's not much longer before most of the tropical Atlantic actually becomes more than conducive now for tropical cyclones in the thermodynamic environment. The pattern is getting ready to flip, and it's coming. And again, it's only a matter of time before tropical cyclones really get going out here. The Sahel region of Africa is certainly well above average in terms of precipitation for this time of the year. That's reduced a lot of the Saharan air. Now there is still some, but there has not been as much as we've seen in some years. The Sahel region is actually setting a record this year for the wettest May and June, or April and May, I'm sorry, in recent years. And that is very, very important. I think it's been since the satellite era that it's been that we are setting this record now. So very important stuff there. The western portion of the main development region into the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Gulf Stream here. This area, the thermodynamic environment is there. The upper ocean heat content is there. The only thing we're lacking right now is the sea surface, or not the sea surface temperatures, the amount of the wind shear in the atmosphere. There's still a little bit too much of dry air in this environment, but overall, the times are changing. The pattern is flipping, and that switch is going to be flipped at some point or another. And we already have stuff to talk about, believe it or not. You know, it's 2020 is living up to its name so far, but you also notice out here in the main development region of the Eastern Pacific Basin, water temperatures running about 29 to 30 Celsius. Areas in the Caribbean here about 28, 29 Celsius. Again, this area, it's only a matter of time, and the time is certainly ticking. And speaking of the time is ticking, we also have a tropical disturbance here, a non-tropical low pressure system right now that is currently off the South Carolina, Georgia coastline here. This is expected over the next about 24 hours to gradually move off towards the north and west here. Again, this is sitting right here, probably just due east of Charleston. It's a little bit hard to pinpoint the exact center, but this is sitting off towards the east here of Charleston, South Carolina, moving off towards the north and west. Again, this should be coming onshore here, this gradual area of low pressure into somewhere along the southwestern portions or southeastern portions of the North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Fayetteville. The Outer Banks could certainly get some impacts. This isn't really expected to develop into much. This only has a 10% chance over the next 48 hours. Really, it's expected to be inland here over the next 24, about 12 to 24 hours. This is expecting to be inland, so not really a problem there. But take a look here at the actual satellite from COD Meteorology, the College DuPage. This is actually our system that we're looking at right now. That's our area of low pressure right now, lifting off towards the north and west. Again, not really seeing much, if anything, with this. Again, very scattered cumulus here, but you also notice how the clouds are actually blowing off towards the north and east there. That's very indicative of strong southwesterly wind shear pushing us off towards the north and east. So very strong southwesterly wind shear across this region, upwards of about 50 knots, is going to really shear this thing apart. Another really big thing is all of these arc clouds out here. This is suggesting the drier air off towards the east of the system. You notice all of these cumulus clouds out here that's really strong to really do anything. All of these cumulus that's really struggling to do anything around this area of low pressure. It's not really being able to concentrate at all, and that's what's going to really hinder this from developing at all into anything. However, as it merges with an upper level low, this can certainly produce some rainfall for the Carolina coastlines all the way up in through portions of North Carolina. Again, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and some of those heavier squalls. That's certainly going to be a possibility. Maybe the threat for some severe weather, maybe an isolated tornado or two. given some of the wind shear that's out there currently. But no tropical development of this is expected here over the next 5 days or so. Now, taking a look here, the National Hurricane Center has also designated an area out here across portions of the southern main development region, including areas to the west and southeast, or to the east and southeast of Barbados, which is sitting right here. The islands here, the southern Windward Islands here, Trinidad, Tobago, Grenada, and portions of Southern America, South America here. There's an area of disturbed weather out here with a 10% chance over the next 5 days. Generally, upper level conditions are expected to become very unfavorable for development here after really the next 2 days or so. So this really doesn't have a chance to go on to develop, but this is one of the things that we've been talking about. These strong tropical waves here that come off of Africa right here. That's the Sahel region right there, the Saharan desert. All of these tropical waves that are coming off here at lower latitudes, this is sitting actually about 8 degrees north longitude. And again, that's really considering everything that's pretty important for this time of the year that gives tropical cyclones the best chance for development. With this intertropical convergence zone being actually about 2 degrees south of where it should be for this time of the year, these low rider type systems are coming across and finding a little bit of a favorable pocket in here to try to do something, although this one certainly isn't going to be doing much with only 10% chance over the next 5 days. But these strong tropical waves are coming off here, and they're coming off here and finding a more favorable environment out in this region. We've talked about that time and time again now. These tropical waves, they're coming off. They're really trying to do something. So it's very important to understand that these things really have the potential, especially as we head into July and then August, for something to really kickstart there. There's also an area out here in the Eastern Pacific Basin, as we talked about yesterday. The model guidance from the European Forecast Ensemble guidance predictions were certainly forecasting something out here, with most of the ensemble members suggesting some sort of tropical mischief out here in the Southeastern Pacific Basin, and the Hurricane Center has now seen that. They have gone ahead and initiated an area with a 20% chance over the next 5 days or so, as this will gradually head off towards the north and west, posing no real deep concern for portions of Central America or Mexico at this time. However, of course, interest in Mexico and Central America are reminded that it is the Eastern Pacific hurricane season and to keep monitoring all of that. Now, taking a look here from Cod Meteorology, once again, the College DuPage. This is our big upper level low right here, merging with our lower level disturbance, which is situated out here off the Carolina, Georgia coastlines. Again, that's going to produce a lot of heavy rainfall for portions of the mid-Atlantic and southeastern states, including South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, over the next several days or so. You also notice a lot of this drier air that's coming off of Africa right now. We'll actually jump back here. All of this kind of dry, milky, white clouds. This is all of that Saharan dust that's getting ejected because of an African easterly jet that is cranking up really now across this area. That is going to help to increase the trade winds, but also reduce most of the warming that's ongoing right here. So it could temporarily hinder some of the additional warming. But again, for the most part, this is that large, expansive area of Saharan dust really preventing anything out in this region, as we would expect, even for busy hurricane seasons at this time of the year. This is our area of disturbance out here that the National Hurricane Center has highlighted. Again, pretty decent convection with it. There is some spin in the atmosphere down here, certainly. This is our area of disturbance out here in the Eastern Pacific Basin. And again, this large kind of entangled system right here, not really expected to do anything. Upper level winds are really cranking through this area for this time of the year, and is expected to do so really up until we get a pattern flip, which will be coming in a couple of weeks or so. If we take a look here, this is taking a look at the 850 millibar vorticity, with a spin in the atmosphere about 5,000 feet off the ground. As you start getting into these reds and whites here in those color shadings, you're starting to get the more cyclonic turning at the 5,000 foot level. Again, this is what is Invest 94L here, sitting off the Carolina coastline. Again, not really expected to do much, but there is an area of associated vorticity with it, and that could bring some showers and thunderstorms again to portions of the North Carolina and South Carolina coastlines here, and even far inland as far inland as Virginia here over the next several days or so. This is our system out here, this bundle of energy right now, currently south and east of Barbados, which is sitting right about here or so. That is south and east of Barbados, and then this is our eastern Pacific system out here that we're watching. Again, this really seems to have a better bundle of the energy. This one, some bundling down here, but really low latitudes right now, and with the land interaction with South America and the unfavorable conditions out there currently, we don't really expect to see any development as typical for this time of the year, even in busy hurricane seasons. And again, that wind shear, just another visualization here coming off the Central University of Wisconsin-Madison site here. A large anticyclone over here, or not a relatively large anticyclone, but there's an anticyclone over this area right now. But there is some strong wind shear, 20 to 30 knots blowing across the top right now. Our system is actually in here, kind of tucked in here with between about 15 to 20 knots of wind shear. But again, the wind shear is really hostile in this environment right now. Again, where our system is right now, you see how the wind shear is about 50 to 60 knots, 40 knots in some of those areas. So again, not really expected to do much. That's our upper level low pressure right now that's spinning right now across portions of the mid-Atlantic states. And again, out here, just off the frame is our Eastern Pacific system sitting in light to moderate shear. So again, the bay state is going to take a little bit more time, especially in the Atlantic basin, to become favorable. But again, this area, the pattern's changing, and it's only really a matter of time now before things really start to kick into gear and things really start to change. And the pattern's going to be changing. So very important to understand that. Now, taking a look here at the GFS forecast, this is the 12Z forecast run from tropicaltidbits.com, valid as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. Again, really just panning this out through the next 5 days here. Again, not really anything going on here in the Atlantic basin at all. And you do notice a little bit more in the way of activity starting to come together now in the Eastern Pacific basin. That really rolls on. And again, there is some cyclonic turning with the GFS out to hour 192. But again, that is very far out in time. The European forecast model, again, out to the next 5 days, shows a general increase in the vorticity action out here. Again, not really anything bundling, but the European forecast does try to produce something out here in the later portions of its runs out to the latter half of June. Again, right now, all indications are we have a convectively coupled Kelvin wave that's going to be positioned and coming across the Eastern Pacific basin, really favoring the Eastern Pacific first and then transitioning into the Atlantic basin. And that's going to set up the stage for the pattern to gradually change and the pattern to shift to focus more in on this area really now over the next several days or so. So we have a lot to kind of keep in track of. Again, right now, generally the tropics are quiet. We are watching 2 areas of disturbance. Again, one out here off the Carolina coastline, only expected to bring heavy rainfall potential to portions of Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. And then another area of disturbance right now that is sitting out here in the southeastern Maine development region, southeast of Barbados, that could bring some heavy rainfall to portions of South America and Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada and the Southern Windward Islands here over the next several days or so. That also has a 10% chance of development really over the next 5 days, but its best shot is going to be over really the next about 36 to 48 hours. So again, a lot to keep talk of right now, but in terms of relatively everything is still quiet. We are heading into the latter half of June now, and it's only a matter of time before the peak of hurricane season is there. So again, remember, preparedness. That's the thing we want to home on. Again, if you guys do want to support these unmanned camera systems, make sure to go follow me on Twitter at MikeRomali1. Again, we're doing a lot of great things with that. We'll be doing a lot of good showcases, and we're going to have a timeline for you guys tomorrow on exactly everything that we plan to do with these unmanned camera systems. So if you guys want to support that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That helps tremendously. Make sure to follow me over on Twitter to stay connected on top of all my projects that I'm doing. And I will catch you guys later. Hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. I am Mike Romali, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow afternoon. Stay safe, everyone.